Yo, what's up guys? Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to an extremely practical level so that you can use them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results. So what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is a continuation on the archetypal series, which is actually going to be coming to an end pretty soon once I get to the number 21, which is the tarot card 21, which is that archetype. Right now, I believe this is number 16, so we're coming to an end here. But what we're going to be talking about in today's video, with this being the 16th archetype, connecting it back to the tarot, and this is also connected to the tree of life, and it's connected through the different pathways that go into the different spheres on the tree. So if you don't know about that, definitely make sure you look into that. I have information on my Patreon that talks about the spheres. But what we're going to be talking about in today's video specifically is the Tower card. So what is the archetype of the Tower? What are the attributations? What are the challenges? What exactly does the Tower mean? Okay, so that's what we're going to be going into. So if you want to know a little bit more about what the Tower means, the Tower card, the archetype of the Tower, what this pathway is going to represent, then stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is definitely go and check out my Patreon. So as I said in the intro, what I'm doing on the Patreon right now is I'm breaking down the different spheres on the tree of life. So I'm going into detail about what these spheres represent within the body, within the body, what attributations they have, what the description of them are, what the symbolism of them are, what you can experience if you actually work with them, things in that nature. So I'm breaking down the tree, and I also have videos on my Patreon where I have actual practices that you can perform in terms of chakra empowerments. I have a step-by-step, actually I have a few step-by-step breakdown videos of how to do spiritual practices. For example, one of them is going to be an invocation. So I literally have a video where I'm breaking down exactly how to do an invocation. And I know that there's a lot of people that ask me that question, so that's why I have the video on the Patreon. So definitely, if you want to understand on a deeper level of where these pathways are coming from, with this archetypal series that I've been doing on my YouTube channel, then I would highly recommend that you join the Patreon and look at the video. Look at the videos that have to do with the tree of life. So look at the video that I created that's talking about the foundation of the tree of life, and then look at the videos that I have where I'm going over the different spheres. And I'm actually in the middle of making it too. So I just finished the middle of the tree. So right now, I'm halfway done with going over the videos that have to do with the tree of life. So now would be a great time to join and follow along with the notes that I'm sharing on the Patreon. And then the other half of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is going to be a video that's very similar to this, where I'm sitting here, you pretty much give the video is entertaining, but you're also getting a lot of value out of it at the same time. Okay, so where you're going to be able to find the Patreon is if you go to the description, you're going to see the very first link at the top. You'll click that link. In order to gain access to the exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member. In order to be a tier 2, it literally costs $9.95 a month, and that is a reoccurring payment. But what that really comes out to is less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you should not be able to afford that with the value that I have on my Patreon. Trust me. And then other than that, I want to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned in parentheses below the link of the Patreon. So shout out to you guys. And as you go up in tiers, the benefits increase as well. I'm going to let you check that out for yourself. Okay, so other than that, let's go right into the video. So here we go. So this is path 16, and it's called the path of cleansing, the path of truth. So the qualities of the Tower, this is what you will experience. These are some of the things that you will experience when you take on this archetype. Okay, so maybe even if you did a card reading and the person that's doing the reading for you pulls the Tower card, this may very well be some of the things that you can experience, you know, if that card shows up in your reading. So let me go over it right here. So, the destruction of false attitudes and behavior patterns, liberation, power, pure force, fire, destruction, war, battles, new beginning, resurrection out of the ashes, spiritual renewal. Okay, so I'm going to read that one last time. The destruction of false attitudes and behavior patterns, liberation, power, pure force, fire, destruction, war, battles, new beginning, resurrection out of the ashes, spiritual renewal. The description, this path ties victory with splendor. So if you connect it back to the tree of life, so if you get a picture of the tree of life, this is going to connect the sphere of Netzach to Hod. Okay, so this is going to be that pathway that goes right between those two spheres, connecting them together. Okay, all right, so let me continue where I left off. So this path ties victory with splendor in a journey that cleanses with fire. The most powerful form of purification we know, it is one of the three paths. Okay, so, excuse me. So, the cleansing with fire is the most powerful form of purification we know. Okay, and that is very true. Like if you start working with the element of fire, what you're going to realize is that's a specific type of attitude that starts to influence you, and that attitude causes you to burn away certain ideas, beliefs, and behaviors, mindsets, people around you. It burns things away that no longer serve you. Just as if, you know, you, like, let's say that there was, you know, you had something and you put it in a fire, it's going to burn it away. It's going to turn to ashes. And if that thing, like, let's say it was metal that you put in, and you put it into the fire, it would burn off of that metal, and that metal would become very hot, and then you pull it back out. So that's just like a quick metaphor of what that could symbolize. So let's see. So it is one of the three paths along with path 4 and 8 that joins the right and left pillars. So that, once again, is representing that pathway that's connecting the two spheres, one on the left pillar and then one on the right pillar, and it's connecting both of them. So then also path 4 and path 8 are one of those paths that's connecting the opposite pillars of the tree as well, just higher up on the tree. Okay, so let's see. So it is one of the three paths along with path 4 and 8 that joins the right and left pillars. It purges all false philosophies in preparation for a paradigm shift. Okay, it is not easy to set fire to something that you believe you need. It is even harder to sever yourself from somebody you love. In order to connect the two opposing pillars on a practical level, we must cut out all extremes on both sides. It might require the elimination of anyone and anything that we cling to too tightly. Okay, so with that being said, you can already imagine that this is not an easy type of thing to transition into or to take on. You know, this means that there's a complete shift that is coming for yourself, and it's preparing you for that state shift. Okay, and it's, you know, in the long run, this is a very healthy process. This is a very important thing to go along with. So if you're trying to hold on to things too tight, you're going to end up hurting yourself even more, because what's going to happen is this archetype, this influence of the tower breaking down, is going to separate you from the things that you no longer need to move forward on where it is that you need to in the direction that you need to go. Okay, so the affirmation is, what does not kill me makes me stronger, and I know that even the most difficult challenge is for the best. I am now being trained by life to be a powerful warrior. Okay, the psalm is, thy testimonies are wonderful, therefore my soul keeps the. Okay, therefore my soul keeps the. That's where it ends. Okay, so thy testimonies are wonderful, therefore my soul keeps the. And that's where it ends. Okay, so the astrological aspect is Mars, ruler of Aries and Scorpio. So Mars is known to be a warrior type of planetary energy. It is a very energetic, yet slices and cuts through and burns away what it needs to. So that it makes a lot of sense that it's correlated to the Tower card. Okay, so the Tarot card is obviously the Tower card, and a depiction of the Tower. Okay, so here we go. So here's a little bit of a description of the Tower card in the Tarot. So a depiction of the Tower of Babel, which is our ego, being destroyed by a lightning bolt, awareness. The destruction of the Tower denotes the elimination of everything that blocks us from our true identity. Challenges are going to be violence, aggression, and self-centeredness. So these are some of the challenges that you're going to face when when you're going through this influence of the Tower card. This is some of the challenges that you're going to face when you're going through this paradigm shift, when things are being burned away around you and within you. I mean, this is not just like things are going to start getting eliminated from your path externally. This is certain types of ideas of who you think you are. This is certain types of feelings that you used to have. Certain beliefs that you thought you were as a person are going to also burn away within yourself. And that can stem violence, aggression, and self-centeredness. Because it's not easy burning those things away, and it takes a certain level of discipline and willpower to let those things burn through your body. And it's not that violence, aggression, and self-centeredness are necessarily bad and you want to avoid those things. These things are going to influence you when you're being influenced by the Tower card, because that violence and that aggression is being caused by the root of that fire that is stemming up within yourself. And that's how it purges itself out. That's how it works itself through you, is through that violence, through that aggression. And then the self-centeredness is a part of the, you could say it's a part of the aspect that is your ego's way of adapting to a new paradigm. You have to essentially be a little more self-centered when you're going into a new state of mind. So it's not going to be like a really floaty meditative process. It's going to be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. And that can be self-centered, but it's also telling you, it's healthy for you. It's telling you that this is what's now happening. This is what I'm now going through. This is where I'm moving. This is what I'm doing. This is what I have to do. Me, because this is a you kind of process. This is something that is transforming you. It has nothing to do with other people at this point, okay? So that is what it is. So the Hebrew letter is Pei, P-E-Y, Pei, and that means mouth. The Greeks call it Pi, a symbol known for its importance in gematria. A symbol known for its importance in geometry and architecture. The mouth wields the power to speak kind words, but it can also kill and destroy. And the mouth is extremely important for going into new transformations, because these transformations need to express themselves into the physical, through the physical world. And that, when you're going through transformations, your words are going to change, your expression is going to change. And the more that you can express yourself, the more that you can speak, the more you're going to understand what change it is that you're actually going through. Because if you're going through all these changes where all this fire is being raised up in you, within you, your paradigm's changing, your beliefs, your ideas on life is changing, your direction's changing, and you're holding that all in and you're trying not to talk because you're afraid of what you're becoming, then you're suppressing a level of that transformation. It is so important to vent those things out, because when it comes to gematria, when it comes to vibrations, everything has everything has numbers and codes to it when it comes to even the voice. And it's important to express that gematria, express that vibration through yourself so it can fully manifest the way that it needs to. And once again, so you can understand what are you going through. So for example, let me give you an example. So you might be in a state of mind where you're like, oh, everything is what it is. It's, you know, everything's going to happen in the right timing. Everything's peaceful. You know, I'm following the steps I need to follow. And then you find the Tower card. Someone does a reading for you, and then the Tower card comes up. Or maybe you don't know, but there's, you know, the Tower archetype is influencing you now, and you're going through a massive change. So you went from being that peaceful person that's following the steps of nature, that's, you know, knows everything is going to fall into your path at the right timing, and now you're going through a state change that, once again, the Tower archetype is now influencing you, and now you feel this fire in you, and you feel like you have to burn certain things down. You have to move in a specific direction, and whatever comes in your path in that direction is going to get mowed down. This is what happens when you start to develop yourself spiritually. This is what happens when you want to become an adept. You will be challenged on levels like that. Your personality, your being will change rapidly because it's moving you into a new stage, a new aspect of self-development, and into a new aspect of what you're becoming. And you want to go with those changes, and you want to embody them as much as you can. That's why it's so important to know the principle of letting go, because there will be a different state of mind. There will be a paradigm shift that is going to come. And if you identify too much with one, then you're going to become enemies with the new state of mind that you're supposed to go into. And it's going to be extra hard for you to embody it, to embrace, and to integrate into yourself. And remember, all of these different paradigm shifts, all of these different transformations and these transitions that you go through are going to lead into you becoming a whole being, meaning you will have integrated all of these different archetypes, all of these different energetic patterns, and then have become a whole person. And that is the whole goal of the work in general. And that will come. You may not realize that right now where you are. You may think you're a whole being right now, but I guarantee you, you're probably not if you're watching this. You have work to do, and that time will come where you become a whole being. Once again, where you have integrated many different types of paradigms, many different types of archetypes, many different types of energies, and you will be your most empowered self. You will have, at that point, reached your highest potential, and from there you can continue to create here on Earth. Okay, so let me see. So now let me give you a little bit of my experience going through this pathway. Okay, so yeah, so this was liberation, power, pure force, destruction, war, battles, new precision, spiritual renewal. Okay, so yeah, this was so when I was being influenced by this archetype during this pathway, I was working at Equinox, and there was a manager, one of the managers that I had, he was really jealous of me, and we didn't see eye to eye, and he was literally doing all this stuff to try and get in my way. And I recognized that, and I took him on as an enemy. I took him on as somebody that is purposely going out of his way to get in my way, like literally. So I didn't, I wasn't a doormat about it. I became very clear, like, I see what you're doing, and I don't respect what you're doing, so I'm going to let you know that I am aware of what you're doing. So the way that I really saw this archetype manifest, I feel like was more so in another person. So I externally saw this manifest in somebody else. So he was challenging me, and it got to a point where, he was being ridiculous about what the things he was doing to try and, prevent me from being successful in the gym. He wanted me to follow his rules and follow his ideas, and I had my own, and I had my own way. And I took a lot of advice from him, but I had my own way. And because I wasn't like under his wing, because I chose to go my own way, he was jealous about that. And it got to the point where on one of my paychecks, I know he took some of my training sessions out so that he could meet a certain budget for himself. So basically what I'm saying is that he had taken some of the actual meetings that I had with people that I get paid for, and he had removed some of them from my paycheck, so I didn't get paid for that. And I noticed that because I saw my paycheck come in, and it was lower than what it should have been. And And my first intuition was that he did something to it. And sure enough, you know, that happened, and then I was aware that he probably did something, so I was even more upset with him, but I didn't say it, I didn't confront him about it. I just knew in my mind something's not right. And I sent a lot of negative energy his way in my mind. I made sure that he was going to have a hard time if he's going to continue messing with me. And then sure enough, the next day, you know, I find out that one of his ex-wives steals literally roughly $13,000 from his bank account. So that was clarity for me that what he did, you know, that like what he did to me was real. It was sure clarity that, you know, he took some of my training sessions away and removed some of the money from my paycheck, and I knew that and I trusted my intuition. But it was also clarity that if you're gonna fuck with me, and now, you know, because I'm gonna send negative energy your way, because I'm aware of it, because I'm aware of what you did to me, then you're going to deal with something yourself, and it's going to be 10 times worse. So I probably lost, from him, I probably lost maybe like $70. Probably took $70 out of my paycheck. Not too much to be like too obvious, but enough to be like, you know, hit the budget a little better, because he was a manager, so he wants to hit a budget. And you know, he lost $13,000. And he treated me completely different after that happened. So that it literally was like in a span of 3 days. Like I figured out he took money out of my paycheck. Then by the third day, I figured out one of his ex-wives literally stole $13,000 from him. And he treated, this is the crazy part, he treated me differently since that day. So that was his own tower. He realized what he did came with payback. And that payback, he also realized, he's not stupid, he realized that probably came from me. He knew that what he did to me, that I'm not a person that you do that to. And that fucked with him. And he treated me different. So he used to like be more verbally, you could say, confrontational with me. But since that day happened, he didn't. He literally kind of stopped talking to me. He acknowledged me, he would greet me, but he talked to me in a different tone, and he just stopped getting in my way. And that was like the tower. His beliefs, his mindset, his ideas of what he was doing to me completely crashed, and it caused him to have a whole paradigm shift. And I saw that, and I was aware of it, and that was the archetype of this pathway manifesting in a situation in my life so I could understand it and break it down. And then, you know, throughout my path, I've been influenced by the tarot archetype as well many times, meaning, you know, I've had many different paradigm shifts. So this is one of those archetypes that you're going to be influenced by often when you start growing. You are going to have many different types of paradigm shifts, because every time you move to a different sphere, that is a different paradigm. So the tower archetype is going to be a very relevant archetype that will influence you and manifest in your day-to-day life. And it is not the end of the world, it is end of the world as you know it. So a lot of people think that if you get the tower card, it's a terrible thing and things are going to start crashing for you. And yeah, there may be truth to like things are going to start crashing for you, but it's crashing for you to make you better. It's happening for a reason, because it's moving you into the next step that you need to move into. Now, if you're doing things that are not good for you, that are not healthy for you, that are not aligned with who you are and what you should be doing, and you get the tower card, that could be a sign that something bad is going to happen, and you want to be careful. Okay, so other than that, I think I said enough on here. I like what I shared. I definitely know it'll offer value to some of you out there. So definitely make sure you hit the thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that like button down there. I appreciate it. Then come down here, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell right next to it, because I post videos as often as I can. And definitely make sure you go and check out the Patreon. Remember, the Patreon is going to be the first link in the description. You have to be a tier 2 at least to gain access to the exclusive content. Okay, the second link below is going to take you to my Streamlabs merch page, which is not going to be there much longer. What you can do is you can place an order for a Hecate sigil shirt, and they will literally ship it right to your door, just like Amazon Prime does. Then you go to the third link below. It's going to take you to my Facebook community. Go ahead and check that out. And if you want, there's a pinned post that says private group. You can join my private group on my Facebook community, and you can request to join and I'll add you in. What I do on there is I post extra content in the form of written and in the form of pictorial and quotes. So things in that nature. So definitely make sure you check that out. I'd love to see you in there as well. And once again, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video, which is going to be Path 17. Peace.